Chronicles now. Hello, everybody. My name is Roddy. I am the host for the show because everything I just totally forgot was going to do, I totally blanked on. So welcome to Comic Book Chronicles.
Yay!
You gotta love when that happens, folks. Here with me tonight. I know, right? Here with me tonight is my trusty duo of followers, brethren here. First, we have one Tim Dog 98 because the other 97 are suckers.
Thank you for that warm welcome.
And of course, we have the coolest man in the hottest state, one Agent _70.
What's going on, everybody?
Sadly not with us tonight, but hopefully enjoying himself is PCN _Dirt, who was spending some time with the family. Hopefully have some fun, bring us back some swag, some drinks.
That's right. We'll give him the respectful applause. There you go.
I was about to say the respectful applause was no applause. What's
No,
going on?
it was just queuing up.
And as always, you can find us, well, right here on this very video, if you're watching the YouTube channel on thekliqnation.com, the video channel. You can find us at cspn.us. You can find us on pretty much any podcasting spots that you so desire. I don't know if we're on Spotify yet, but maybe soon if we're not. Anywhere you find a podcast, you will find us, The KLIQ Nation Comic Book Chronicles. Look for it by name, ask for it by name. You can find us individually at I'm Radicat and at News Nerds Need. Also at Caps on Instagram and Tumblr. You can find Agent _70 at Agent _70 on Twitter and Instagram. And most definitely, you can find Tim at TimDog98 on Twitter and at CBCron on Twitter and at thekliqnation.com. Excuse me, at thekliqnation, TheKliqNation, all one word on Twitter. And of course, the website, thekliqnation.com. You can find PCN _Dirt at PCN _Dirt and Pop Culture Net on Twitter. You can also go to his site, popculturenetwork.com, where you can go find all of his goodies over there. And you can definitely help us out if you so choose by going to shop.cspn.us and going to get some goodies to keep us going. You can also go to cspn.us, by the way, if you want to find our show and other goodie shows like ours. Though those shows aren't good. Probably better, but who knows?
Yeah.
Matter of taste. But thank you for being here with us tonight. And with all of that out of the way, which now that I think about it, I probably should let Tim do the spiel, because we are going to do a real quick recap of my time at Heroes Con, which this was this past weekend. I would have to say that so the show is usually pretty good. If you don't know, Heroes Con is pretty much more of a fan-focused comic book convention. It is in Charlotte, North Carolina every year around this time. A lot of creators like it. It's smaller than San Diego and New York. Hopefully, we're trying to get the full crew down here one year. Agent 70, and, to come down. Actually, I think
I'm semi-local. I can't make it every year.
Right, but at least you've come a couple of times, So
yes,
that's what's up. And like I said, we'll have a better show as time goes by. Hopefully, I'll definitely be there because it's pretty localish to me. But at any rate, it was I was there for the whole 3 days. I got a little bit of stuff signed by artists and a bunch of creators. I saw some creators that I didn't get to talk to, but I'm not really all that good about that stuff, but at least try. Went to a few panels here and there and even recorded a couple of them for that that probably won't see the light of day outside of our private chat. But I can safely say that the crowd this year, especially for Saturday, was pretty good. Oh, and Tim, actually, so Tim, do you remember you remember when you went last year, right? And that section that was around the corner that had just had the arcade stuff and the little stage and whatnot. So they have expanded again because from the big part where the artists and stuff usually are, it goes wall to wall. Okay. And then they put some more art, like Aftershock was in that little, like Aftershock, and another booth was in that area where that little stage was and the arcade was, and there was like the Ghostbusters booth and you know, and a few other things. They even expanded because there was like there was a retro gaming booth, a couple of them, and they had more vendors. So they really expanded spot, like from front to back and from wall to wall. It was pretty much, you know, filled with artists and vendors. So
good deal.
Yeah, so they're definitely expanding the right way for certain. You know, there is still a little bit of space by that stage area, but you know, like I said, there's more stuff in there than there was in the last few years. So that was cool to see. And I am going to, while I'm sitting here in front of my mouth, going to pop up just a couple of different pictures here, if I remember to do that proper. And yeah. So yeah, like I said, this I want to bring attention to the site. It's called thescienceof.org. It's a pretty cool site, and it's a bad picture, I recognize, but it's a pretty cool site that uses it's run by teachers, and I think one of the guys said that they used to be editor-in-chief of Comics Alliance or something.
Okay.
I don't remember. But basically this site goes through pop culture stuff and, you know, kind of breaks down the science of it. Not unlike, well, not necessarily like Neil deGrasse Tyson does, where he poo-poos the whole things, but they just kind of, like you see here, there was a real life person that the Dr. Poison from Wonder Woman was based off of, and they kind of do stuff like that. And, you know, the science of Spider-Man trying to catch Gwen Stacy and stuff like that. And they even use the stuff in their classrooms to kind of get their students engaged, which I thought was really cool, because it was like the panel that I went to was about using pop culture, you know, to teach science or to teach anything. And it was pretty decent. It was a small room, but it was pretty decently attended. And I thought it was pretty cool. So, but if you ever get to, and they've got some pretty good articles on there for the science.org. I think they even do comic reviews. It's like, at least the last time I went there, they had some. So go check that out if you so choose. Then, of course, I went to a panel with Jim Shooter talking about storytelling.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. It was relatively clinical, but he was all right. You know, there was I guess I shouldn't say weirdly, but there was a lot of Kirby talk at a couple of different panels. Not even the ones that, not just the ones that were, you know, exclusively about him, which there was like 2 or 3 of them. And I did go to one like mega panel that was. And this is a kind of a blurry picture, but there's some cosplay stuff I'm starting to get into. There's Black Man. There's this little Star-Lord that was right here. There's a lot of people, as you see in the back, there was a lot of people with these little buggies full of, you know, short boxes and long boxes galore, trying to get stuff signed.
I hate those people.
Yeah. Friend. Well, the girl that it usually runs the comic shop that I go to was there, and she told me that this dude was in line to see Jason Aaron, and he had like a gang of stuff. He had like a whole long box full of stuff, and was getting a whole bunch of stuff signed, was holding up the line. And a lot of creators had like tip jars, so they weren't really taking, you know, money themselves, but they were taking tip jars for like hero.
Yeah, exactly. They were taking
Heroes Initiative.
Exactly.
Right. So, and this guy, from what the story I was told, he got all this stuff signed, and then when he was finished, everybody started clapping, but they weren't clapping for him. Actually, wait, it wasn't Jason Aaron, it was Hickman. Excuse me.
Oh, so, man.
which is weird because like Hickman usually would be the ones that you would think would be like, nah, a couple of, you know, two and keep it moving. But anyway, he signed all of them. Guy turned around, everybody cheered, and he thought they were cheering for him, but they was actually cheering for Hickman. And the guy didn't leave any tip or anything. He just
no donate
out and got the stuff out. So I was like, yeah. So you got those people like that. I got a bunch of stuff. Well, not a bunch of stuff. I got a couple of things signed, but I didn't get as much as I wanted to sign because I waited till Sunday to try to get stuff signed. And let me tell you, folks, that is the wrong day to try to get stuff signed, especially from artists, because they're just trying to get
their commissions done.
Their commissions done before the show is over. And I was waiting in line for Stell Freeze, who was there because I finally had my stuff with me. And I was waiting for them about good 10, 15 minutes. And the girl was like, yeah, come back at 5, which I was leaving before then. So I didn't get anything signed by him. Did see Sanford Green, so I got and talked to him for a second, but I forgot to congratulate him for his creator own stuff. But we talked to him for about a good second. Then I got stuff from, I got one of my hip hop covers from signed for Wando. And
was it the Howard the Duck?
No. It was the Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Yeah. Met Matthew Rosenberg.
Nice.
You know, and you know, got something signed by him, and you know, a couple other people. But that was cool. But like I said, so right here we got this R2D2. There was a couple of remote control R2D2s. Apparently, there's this Builders Club that was there, and there was this one, and then there was this one, and then there was a couple of other ones that was in. That I didn't see until later, but these were pretty cool. And then they were like going around the floor a little bit. Then there was this spider lady that was suspended from some circus international, I believe it was called or something. So she was kind of twirling around out there. That was pretty cool. Then of course there was a TARDIS, and there's that Captain America I showed you online, Age of 70. Which was kind of cool. There was another one where this dude, he was like looking, he almost looked like D-Man, but he had a shield.
Yeah.
But he had a shield because he was like bummy D-Man, and this dude had like a real long beard.
Gotcha.
And so a couple of stormtroopers. It was Vigo because they had a couple of Ghostbusters there for the North Carolina chapter, and they had a little gear booth that was right off to the side. And they were taking donations, and of course there's this Deadpool and Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, no, yeah. See, there's that in the back. There's where the 501st and the R2D2 Club was. And of course, there's a couple of pictures from the panel. This is Ed Brisson and Matthew Rosenberg from the Marvel Town Hall panel. Then it was Chip Zdarsky and Charles Soule. Was also at that same panel. Okay. Thank you, Dirk. This picture was from the DMC panel. That's Domo Stanton, Amy Chu, and of course DMC in the place to be. I had a recording of that panel, but apparently mysteriously got screwed up, so I'm pissed off about that. But apparently, what I found out was that DMC Comics is going monthly as opposed to the graphic novels every 8 months that they've been doing. He didn't say when that's going to start, just that it was going to happen sometime soon. So I don't know if that was actually news already or if it was something that just came out there, but that was cool. That was a pretty cool panel, always is. Then this cool lady is Professor X.
Yeah.
Professor X was going around.
That's creative.
Or Rogue?
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
Is that what it is?
So what?
Is that Rogue is Professor X? Oh no, I see that's a helmet. Ah.
Yeah, she's got Cerebro on. So
it looked like a skunk stripe for a second.
I know, right? And then there's a Hawkeye here. That was pretty cool looking.
Wow, that's hardcore.
Yeah. And this little girl here, I don't know what the hell she was trying to be, but she was rolling around on the floor asking for hamburgers and breakfast. So if anybody knows what the hell she was supposed to be trying to be,
okay.
Yeah, because it was kind of funny because like because matter of fact, at this time I was waiting for Dave's friend Oren, who I had a really nice talk with, by the way. And she came rolling up on the floor because she was like right around there. It was around the area. You might know the area where CBC usually be, or pretty much parallel to the door, right behind our art stage, Tim.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where she was and rolling around. I don't know if anybody knows who the hell she's supposed to be. Let me know. But she was talking about, "Are you gonna make me famous?" And I was just laughing, like, "Yeah, sure." That's that. But that's pretty much the majority of that. Like I said, went to a few panels. I did get a couple of things. Well, because I really didn't have a whole lot of extra money, but I wanted to get something. So I got this, which is the Teen Titans deck building game, because I like card games, even though I don't really have too many people to mess with them with. And I did get this print
from Sanford Green.
From Sanford Green, which apparently was a limited exclusive from or something. I don't know if it's con exclusive, but I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, that's from whatchamacallit, a variant cover that I think was pretty limited for the crew.
Right. So I was gonna get it regardless whether it was limited or not. I was like, well, shoot, I had to get this.
Cool.
So I'm going to have to put that up. And then the only other thing that I got, which if you've seen my Twitter, was this.
Oh no. Batarang.
Batman fidget spinner. For those not watching the video, they had almost got the Captain America shield because they had one of those too, and they had a few different ones. But I was like, I'll just get this and let it roll.
I'll look for that next con I go to.
Yeah. So they are definitely about there. But I had, like I said, outside of running around like a stupid person and didn't really get as much done as what I wanted to, and didn't get as many of the pictures as I wanted to, because there was a storm I did get a picture of, but it wasn't a very good picture, and a couple of pictures of Darth Vader and a few other people that I will have to try to process or try to salvage some kind of way. But I had a good time. If you're ever in Charlotte, which I think we know of somebody who might try to be down there next year, and I hope they do, because I'd like to meet them. But and I'm not gonna say, not gonna call them out here what you regardless of whether we're watching or not. So,
all right,
come on down.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, now that I know that, I mean, I knew this already, but this particular, this past weekend I had a family wedding to attend, so I wouldn't have been able to go this year anyway. But knowing that an old friend of mine actually is fairly I'm trying to find the right word, but I guess he's no, what I was going to say is no, what I intend to get at is his he's willing to undergo the arduous trip, to make his way down south to get to a con, and I admire that. He's
so apparently he came straight from Awesome Con, from what he said.
My understanding is that he was, like basically working his way south.
Right.
And, I thought that was pretty remarkable, and that sounds like a road trip that we can go on next year. So hopefully we can knock that out. We'll just have to make arrangements and get our schedules together.
Yeah. Make them do all the driving.
Oh no, I'll be sharing some of the driving. Like, we'll probably figure out a car to take, and then
I mean, that's what, like 8 from where you are. Probably go 6 to 8 from where you are.
Maybe a little bit more.
About 8, I would imagine. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah,
but it's something to look forward to, because then if that's the case and we actually do undertake this road trip, then we'll do a better job of trying to get at TimDog98 from getting sidetracked by things to do around the house.
Hopefully by then he'll be a little bit more settled in.
I'm about to say I should be settled by then, and I can actually take the Friday off.
Sure.
Yeah, because he was attempting it, but things just wasn't happening. So I understand. And yeah, so I totally understand that.
So all good.
So Matt Wayne 97, friend of the show, said Wayne will try to smash Heroes Con next year. I'm holding you to that, Matt. I'm holding you to it, because I would like to say that. Like I said, it ain't as big as New York or most of you folks are used to, but it's
more intimate.
Yeah, exactly. That's why some of the creators like it so much.
I just hope I don't get claustrophobic. That's all.
If you don't get claustrophobic during New York, then
no, you don't get claustrophobic. You get agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is fear of crowds, right? Agoraphobia. So, that's the phobia that you get, at New York Comic Con.
It's nowhere near that crowded. And like I said, it's the most crowded day is Saturday because most of the people are free from work and more cosplay and stuff like that. But Friday and Sunday, like they're busy, but they're not as not as bad. Just make sure you have a bag so just in case you pick up some stuff so you can
always standard operating procedure, man.
That's what I was gonna do, and I forgot to take a picture of this, but there was this vendor booth that had because like I said, they had booths for a lot of stuff like replica stuff. There was this one booth with a whole wall, a big ass wall of Marvel Legends figures.
Nice.
And I almost took a picture of it, but I was like, well, you probably have half of these, so why would you care?
Well, at least some of the more recent runs, like
right.
There was a time when I was kind of picking and choosing, but then what was ending up happening was that things come and go so quickly, and then the secondary market heats up, and the next thing you know, you're just not willing to pay out of the nose for some of these figures that you could have gotten the first time around if you were just paying attention to like the online toy stores.
Right. And even with that, like some of the prices, unless it's on Sunday where they're trying to get rid of stuff, some of the prices are not great.
Sure.
At the cons, but they're in some cases like some of the Funko stuff are not bad prices. Like you can get like 2 for $20 or something like that, but that's kind of almost going rate. Or sometimes 3 for $20 on a Sunday if they're trying to get rid of stuff. But but that was Heroes Con, and now we are going to go over because we wasted enough time and get into this week's comic books.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
And I believe we said we were going to start with Batman 25. So, fellas, take it away.
Actually, we said Peter Parker, didn't we?
Did we? I'm sorry. Peter Parker.
Peter Parker did?
Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man #1.
Yeah. So this was the lone hip-hop cover of the week.
I should have picked it up because I saw it. Which I thought they did that cover already, though.
I don't believe so.
Put it up again. Say something.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, just to get it up on the main screen.
You can select his screen also.
All right.
To have it stay on it.
Okay. Right, and Tim is putting up the regular cover.
Right. So okay. So what's up?
So we have Chip Zdarsky and Adam Kubert and Jordi Belair. Oh, I didn't notice Jordi was doing the colors on this.
So
it's a very colorful book, and Chip has brought his sort of Howard the Duck style humor right into this. So we have a very wittyful Peter Parker / Spider-Man here, where he's kicking around with Johnny Storm the Human Torch, and we have a guest appearance by Ant-Man, and we meet the slight spoiler alert.
Hold on.
We have a new character who's the relative of a supervillain, the Tinkerer's brother.
Yes.
On the side of good, though.
Oh, so that's what the article was about. Okay.
He's a good tinkerer.
Oh, joy.
But that wasn't the only reveal. Of course, there had to be a last page reveal of a, I guess, forgotten character in the Spider-Man mythos. We'll keep that a surprise.
Yeah.
So, I forgot this character existed.
When did this character last appear?
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't exactly remember. I kind of remember a reference to this person, kind of, sort of back in the day. But yeah,
I don't remember. And maybe
I need to read some articles on it.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna make me go and
read the book. You'll enjoy it. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was definitely fun.
Is that supposed to be mustard on his shirt? The little yellow spots.
Let's say yes.
Possibly.
Because I see, I guess the same stain is on the Spider shirt underneath it.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, why is there gold on it? Like the little dabs of yellow, but it's probably a mustard stain.
It is probably a mustard stain. That's a good pickup. That is a good pickup. Did you mention the funny opening about with Johnny Storm?
Well, I bet you that he kicked around, piled around with Johnny.
Yeah, so like it's funny that because it's a #1 issue, even though everyone knows Spidey's origin, they still go through it, but there's a funny twist to it. So it's a nice little opening for anyone who might even be only vaguely familiar with the character.
Right, and then there's a joke that gets finished later on. That's set up early, and we see the conclusion of it later on with Johnny showing up yet again.
Yeah, stood up.
Gets stood up by Spider-Man to prove how he never forgets a date, but yet forgot his hanging out time with Johnny.
Huh.
Yeah.
So here's the question. I think I was talking to somebody saying that Sadowski seemed like he might be a pretty decent fit for this book, given at the very least the Spider-Man's kind of jokey nature. So does that seem to pan out so far from this issue?
I think so.
Or?
I think
so far, yeah.
Okay.
It was a fun read. It's a definite candidate for a click of the week for me because I just had a good time reading it. Shout out to PCN_Dirt, who's at Graham Comic Reviews review reminded me to read this book, kind of push it towards the top of the read list this week, and I was not disappointed.
Yeah, the only reason I squeezed it in before the show was because it was off of Doug's recommendation.
There you go.
And I'll go ahead and say it is his click of the week.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. All right. So, in the words of President Bartlett,
what's next?
Let's see what
we can go to Batman 24-25 next.
Okay, yeah, that works.
We're up here. Wow, this is the 25th anniversary issue. A couple of those happening in the DC universe.
Yeah,
this is the start of a new storyline for Batman. The War of Jokes and Riddles.
Right. So, I mean, you can kind of guess from the title of this story arc that it's going to pit two of the pillars of Batman's rogues gallery against one another.
That being the Joker and the Riddler.
Yeah, seriously, there's no spoiler alert there.
And it does a good job of displaying how crazy each character is in their own way.
Yes, agreed.
Like the Joker, I guess, has lost his smile and he's trying to get it back anyway he knows how.
Or at least
that way just happens to involve killing comedians.
Yeah, he can't laugh. He doesn't find anything funny.
Though he tries.
Yeah, he definitely tries very hard.
And then the Riddler is in the custody of Gotham City Police Department. They go to him to try to decipher or decode this the Joker's movements on a map.
Right.
And he's the only one that can see.
Right.
He's the only one that can see the pattern. But yet he ends up sort of killing one of the officers in the process.
What I was going to say, the Riddler, I guess for some time had been coming up with his own way to escape that involved gathering as much intel on the guards as possible. And when it came down to it, the guards could not bring themselves to stopping the Riddler on his way out because he had gained so much intimate knowledge into the guards that they were basically frozen in fear as the Riddler was making his way out. And I thought that was a pretty effective way of establishing a slightly different take on how impressive and intimidating and frightening the Riddler can be in such situations.
Definitely. And then there's a tease of sort of this rivalry splitting the Gotham City villains, where everyone has to pick a side, more or less. And we get teases for like battles between
Villain Civil War.
Yeah, it's Villain Civil War. Like the main one that stands out is Deathshot versus Deathstroke. But then there's also like Killer Croc going up against was it Solomon Grundy?
Yeah. Yeah, there's Man-Bat against Clayface.
Penguin and like the ventriloquist and stuff like that.
Yes.
So lots to look forward to.
Scarecrow against the Mad Hatter. Lots of cool, it's a nice visual. Shout out to Mike Helgenin, who is the penciler on this, and does a good job. Especially that's a great. That would be a cool CB cap, Roddy, when you get around to it. Getting to that page, it's a nice one page splash.
Okay, or if you have it, just well, we'll talk about that later. Because I'm about to say you can just put it out and then I'll just repost it from you. If you have it.
Not handy.
Okay, that's fine. Not a problem. All right, that's it for the bat. Or so wait, so it says special anniversary issue, but it's only $3.99.
That's right.
That's
because DC loves your wallet.
Oh yeah, but wouldn't they? But that's what I was thinking. Wouldn't it have been like $4.99? Because I know, especially there's a couple of matter of fact, there's a couple of them I got right in front of me that's like $4.99. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't do it for that one.
I still because I think Batman is whatchamacallit, still bi-monthly.
Okay,
that might be why.
That's probably why. Gotcha. What if we're done with that? I got a couple of I could bring up real quick then. Speaking of, and the first one would be Lobo Roadrunner Special #1.
Oh no!
Hey! It sounds crazy, and it a little bit is, but it was actually pretty good. They both actually were kind of. So in fact, I will do these back to back. So Lobo Roadrunner Special #1. So stop me if you've heard this one before. Back in 1949, a bunch of animals got experimented on by none other than Acme Labs. Said animals, some of which being Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner, Sylvester was in the pack. So was in a thing somewhere. They were experimenting with mutant DNA in animals, and they came up with the people that we now know and love as these characters. Well, years later, it seems like the Wile E. Coyote broke out and busted everybody else out, and they got loose, never to be seen for again until fairly recent history. So the Roadrunner, I mean not Roadrunner. So everybody's going off to the we don't hear from those other cats, but we do see Wile E. Coyote kind of gets tired of chasing the Roadrunner because he can never catch her. So Sam the dog, the sheepdog with y'all know him if you know Looney Tunes history, told him to find this intergalactic bounty hunter that would sure to get it, and you can pretty much guess who that is. So
that's a good.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate both of the books because they have been pretty good about just kind of baking in Looney Tunes into the DC world, especially the ones this week. And like I think I still hadn't read the Marvel and the Martian one yet, but these two and the Bugs Bunny one from last week was actually pretty good about baking in these Looney Tunes characters. So but yeah, Wile tries to gets Lobo to Lobo's being Lobo. He gets him to take the contract. But Lobo's already got one, so he's like, well, look, you do this contract, and I'll take care of your problem, and I'm just gonna keep all the money, unbeknownst to Wiley. So Lobo goes off to try to catch to Roadrunner, and you can pretty much guess what happens. It pretty much turns into a Roadrunner cartoon.
Okay.
And yeah, it was pretty good.
I hope Lobo catches an anvil to the head.
Actually, I don't remember if that happened, but pretty much most of the other stuff you would think would have happened in those cartoons did happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there was a small backup that kind of flips it a little bit, and as opposed to the art that would be a standard DC art, you would see like more Looney Tune cartoonish art, but still kind of continues the story.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be the thing that happens in this one and the next one I'm going to talk about, Wonder Woman Tasmanian Devil Special #1.
Okay.
So in Wonder Woman Tasmanian Devil, so here's what happens here. Back when Diana was young, she was tasked with doing a lot of stuff, as the Amazonians were tasked to do, feats of strength and all that kind of group mates thing. So she was supposed to go up against one of the great beasts. Instead of going up to, say, the Minotaur that is in the Labyrinth, she goes up against the Tasmanian Devil, who is one of these great beasts.
Oh gosh.
Or Great Guardians, because is what they call them. So, and she gets a tuft of his hair by tricking him and putting him to sleep and promising him something. And she even sings to try to put him to sleep and and she was like, well, I'm not going to go back here again, so I'll never see this creature again, until she ends up going back to the Mascara for a celebration, which gets interrupted by Cersei. Oh, I forgot to mention, Guardians end up coming up with some kind of way in the Lobo one. But anyway, Cersei breaks up the party, so Diana has to go find the Tasmanian Devil to help her fight against Cersei. So she needs him to go get this one medallion that's supposed to be able to free the rest of the folks, and then Taz ends up getting in his Roman gear, like that happens, and helping her fight. And that ends up being cool. And then the backup of that one is Taz pretty much getting the feast that he was promised by Diana early on, and a song which ends up turning into a Greek tragedy. So is actually retelling the story of Troy, the fall of Troy.
Okay.
Troy, but the
Trojan horse.
Yeah, this Trojan horse, which that was ended up being fun. If you've seen my CB caps, you've seen a couple of screen caps from there, including some language that you never would have thought you would have seen in a DC book, much less talking from Looney Tunes.
Okay.
So, but both of them are strangely compelling and enjoyable. So I enjoyed them both. They are both, one of them or both of them are potential clicks of the week for that. Because I enjoyed them a pretty good bit. I think I may have enjoyed the Lobo one a little bit better than the Wonder Woman. Actually, well, I'll take it back, because the stuff at the end of the Wonder Woman was pretty was pretty funny. So
all right,
that was those two in the book. Like I said, if you like Looney Tunes and DC characters, and the mixing together seems to be of interest to you, you should check out these books. I don't know how many more of these are left, because I know there was the one last week, or the two last week, and there's the ones this week, and there might be two more. I don't remember.
Okay. All right. Let's move to a book I'm pretty excited to talk about, and I just read at TimDog98's assessment of it, and I think he knows what I'm referring to, and that is Mighty Thor #20.
Okay.
There is a there's a metric crap ton of stuff that happens in this book. I kid you not. There's so much going on.
And all of it awesome.
Yes. No doubt. So let me set the stage, and then we can get into the discussion. The War of the Realms is basically running roughshod through the realms, and what we have at the beginning of this issue is a small group of senators from the from the Congress of Worlds visiting the realm of the the dwarves. Where Eitri the dwarf had forged Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and Stormbreaker as well. And basically, what we find here are refugees from the Light Elf kingdom, a world, taking shelter in the dwarf world, and basically all hell breaks loose from there.
Okay.
There's also a side story, a parallel story that we have in this, which is Odin's son and Jane Foster having one of the. It's not a heart-to-heart, but it's kind of more Jane doing a one-sided heart-to-heart with the Odinson, and the Odinson kind of being a jerk-face about it. But then, at the end of this particular round of discussions between the two, there's obviously more to come. But the Odinson still, there's still some redemption for him before we get to where we're presuming we're going to get.
All right. So the question is, how far back would I need to go to catch up to this? The beginning of this run, or Unworthy Thor, or prior?
That's a tough question. What do you think?
I mean, I'd just go back and read Unworthy Thor to see like the outcome of the Ultimate Hammer,
right?
And you can kind of just pick this up, and I pick up the issue previous, I guess issue 19, because I guess that's where Jane reveals to Odinson, that she's been Thor the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, because you get the gist of it. The different realms are feuding and battling or in war with one another because of Malekith scheming. So,
yeah.
And was the reveal of this Thor that surprising?
Yes, even though it's very apparent who it is.
Yeah,
right.
Yes and no, because I like Tim's notes because it is right in front of us, but the way the story unfolds, it's like, oh, that's what happened. Because we don't have the lead up to it. We just get the tease of the War Thor at the end of the last issue. But then, this issue really expands upon that and explains it. And it's just such a well-told story. It's well-crafted. And the reveal was well-earned.
I like that they didn't play the long game like they did with Jane's reveal. They just got straight to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Even though it was quick, it still is well-earned. And it definitely plays on some stuff we may have already known about this character from previous runs of Thor. When I say previous runs of Thor, of course, I'm referring to the Simonson run of Thor.
Right. I saw a side note. I saw Jason Aaron this weekend at the convention, and I told him I love Thors, and I almost asked him like, when are you gonna do another Thors? But I know that's probably there's probably never going to be another time where that's going to be
right.
Something like it's never going to happen. So I decided not to.
Man, what a great concept that was.
Man, that was so great. If you haven't checked out Thor's the Secret Wars miniseries, please do, because it was awesome. Anyway, so if we are through with Mighty Thor, what we got going on next?
Yeah. Like we maybe get a couple more books in, go rapid fire, because it looks like Tim only read a few more books, and Roddy and I seem to have had a lot of time to read this week.
Yeah, there's a couple more I could do before I go wrap it. So, you got something you want to put out there?
Really just Daredevil number 22. Okay. Again, if anyone recalls what I said about the previous issue, one of the things that Soul is trying to introduce, at least into this book right now, is, a twist on the classic problem that law enforcement has in closing a case against a bad guy that is caught by a masked vigilante. They almost never have that. Well, they just can't bring the masked vigilante as a witness. Daredevil at least comes up with a relatively uh, 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 a relatively sound legal argument for having mild spoiler, but obviously it's a solo book, so it's not much of a spoiler, but they come up with a sound legal argument to have Daredevil testify on the stand without having to reveal himself. That is the big twist. And without getting into too much of the legal mumbo jumbo, they're able to pull it off. But obviously, these things are subject to appeal, and there is something of a slippery slope that is set if this is going to be, allowable in the future. If they in fact set a precedent in the legal side of the Marvel U. So, it's definitely interesting. Obviously, I have a little bit more of a familiarity with a lot of the pitfalls, but a lot of this stuff isn't as complicated as it might sound. It's very basic, and it's still something that has been touched upon in the history of the Marvel universe. If I'm not mistaken, we've seen it come up in SpiderMan comics where where bad guys who are webbed up with the note, care of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, end up getting away because they can't make the case stick. So it's an interesting twist on a twist in the legal corner of the Marvel U. I noticed that we're staying away from Secret Empire stuff.
I didn't really well.
Because I haven't got to any of it yet.
It's kind of what's funny about that, and I bring that up because I am not enjoying this portion of reading into the crossover books, and I'm definitely giving serious thought to just dropping the Captain America books, both Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, until Secret Empire is over.
Wow.
Because Cap. Steve Rogers' Cap came out this week, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And Sam Wilson was last week. I haven't even read that one yet.
Right. And it's just not, it's not doing much for me because they're just kind of filling in some of the gaps or, kind of plugging some minor holes in the Secret Empire story. And it's just not doing enough for me to keep my attention.
So actually, there were a couple of tie-in books that I did read. I don't know if you want
to get to them. Just get to the books that you wanted to speak about.
Yeah.
Go rapid fire.
Well, before we do rapid fire, let me do actually Nick Fury #3. And then we'll circle back around to that stuff because there is a couple of things I want to say to him, but they can go rapid. So Nick Fury #3. So if you've heard us talk about this book the last couple of times it's come out, I can pretty much say the same that there's a lot going on here, especially with the art-wise, but it is still a fun book to read. So far, it has still been pretty much one-off missions that Nick's been on. There's been some nice styling lettering, especially with the title of the book. It is a very colorful book. There are pages with fight scenes with like 20 panels on them almost, It's like they just went nuts with them. But I mean, the arts look good. It's just there's a whole lot going on. But this time we find Nick on a train trying to safeguard a world leader who's not a very good person, but he's also been targeted for assassination. And Nick's just kind of been running clean up on any would-be attackers. But he also meets this girl or this woman on the train who at first you would think, I was like, okay, is he gonna end up fighting? He even says, as much. He might end up fighting, but it comes about that doesn't happen. Like this may or may not be an interest for him. But like I said, it's pretty much a one and done. And it's pretty much a James Bondish type action thing with plenty of action. But it's a pretty cool read once you get past the art. And I'm saying that because it can be, because there's a lot of art and it can be a little distracting, but it's really nice looking. I will go ahead and bring up Star Wars Darth Vader #2 while I'm here, because there is a possible, I don't know if I would call this a spoiler, but,
I'm gonna ring the bell.
You might as well. But there is a link to Last Jedi that people have picked up on in articles, because so Vader's on a quest to get a lightsaber from a Jedi, and this is after Order 66, so therefore there aren't that many Jedis around thanks to him and the Empire. But he goes to search, so he finds a way to search out one, and that means he's attacking this one base with the stormtroopers, who you would think know who he is but doesn't. They just count him off as another Jedi when he comes storming the place, because they didn't really announce himself. But once that whole thing gets out of the way, we find out that that Vader's looking for Jedis who have taken a specific vow, and this vow may be the link that could possibly come up in The Last Jedi, the forthcoming movie. But he does a search, he finds this Jedi, and that pretty much ends this issue of the book. So conveniently, there is a Jedi around, and this Jedi, you know, just so happened to be around because he never really got himself involved with. He's basically serving a penance, and therefore did not get involved with the Jedi dealings. So one, he's not hiding, and two, he's not really, when everything jumped off, he hasn't really done anything. But apparently this one was only bred for pretty much doing one thing, and that was fighting. And in my notes, I put Karnak, because even though this guy looks nothing like Karnak, the description of him just kind of reminded me of him.
Okay.
So, but it was a pretty decent read. Like I said, the books, Charles Soule's been doing all right so far with that book. It's not heavy on one thing or the other. And we're just getting started with it, because it's like I said, this is pretty much taking place right after, or right near the end of Return of the Sith, or Revenge of the Sith, excuse me. Which that also kind of made me confused, because I'm sitting here like, okay, so the order was given. Vader was around when that happened, because he helped to exterminate someone. And there were stormtroopers there. Why do these stormtroopers not know who he is? But it could have been, but I'm thinking it was just still early enough to where he wasn't like out there like that as the Emperor's right hand just yet. So, but it was still weird to me that was the case. So, but that's Darth Vader #2. Let's see. Anything else? I don't want to do Ultimates #2 and 8. Put that one out. I think pretty much everything else after that is rapid fire. So here we have, if the cover seems, well, I don't know. It seemed like the cover and therefore the person that shows up that is on the cover seemed to be guided by a certain movie that just came out. That might not be true. However, this is pretty much a Galactus focus issue where he's still recovering from his injuries, but he ends up somehow through Molecule Man's rumpus room on top of Ego, the living planet. Hence why I said what I said just earlier. So Ego sees him there. He is not as big as what he normally is, but because he's apparently, like I said, he's still recouping, and therefore his size is shrunk and his power. But Ego sees him and takes him as a threat, because he doesn't realize that, he is the life bringer now, even though Galactus is saying a couple of different times he's looking for him. So he tries to fight him off a couple of different times. That doesn't work. Galactus travels inside Ego and ends up talking to what seems to be a kindred spirit to Galactus from his older non-Galactus days, but also in a similar situation as Galactus, in Ego's spirit or in Ego's core. So some things happen after that, and then there's this big meeting with a new group that we see at the end of the book, and some stuff looks like it possibly is about to jump off from this, with a bunch of cosmic characters that we have seen in previous issues. We also have a new artist on this issue, and the art was actually pretty clean, even though it was different from what it's not Travel Foreman, and I think he's going to be back next issue from what I've seen in the back of the book. But the art in his book was actually pretty clean, if not different from what we've seen. I still miss Kenneth Rocafort, but it is what it is.
I have a question.
Yes.
I see it has the Secret Empire trade dress at the top.
Yeah, it does. Weird, huh?
And it sounds like the story has nothing to do with that.
Not really. No.
Okay, just checking.
I mean, there might have been something. I think there was something that was like a dress that was brought up in it, and I don't remember what that was because, like I said, it was pretty much focused on Galactus and Ego and them chopping it up and other stuff. I don't remember seeing much Secret War stuff in it, unless they may have brought up. I don't even remember seeing the rest of the team in here. Put it that way. So, if there was, I totally missed it. Because usually they would at least call something out of it, but yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, got anything before we go to rapid fire? Anything?
Bueller?
My last 1.5 can be included in rapid fire.
Okay. Well.
All right, so I guess we are at that point in the show. We are in rapid fire mode right now. Rapid fire reviews.
Where's John Machida?
I'm gonna kick off with Weapons of Mutant Destruction #1. Between the Weaponettes series and Totally Awesome Hulk, both written by Greg Pak. So I enjoyed Mahmoud Azra's art in this. He's also been doing Totally Awesome Hulk, but I like the way he drew, especially the Weaponettes members. Him and I think he normally uses a colorist named Nolan Woodard, I believe. I'm kind of guessing just from previous issues, but that's usually who he works with. The colors were very nice. I just sort of like the lean look of like James Proudstar, for example. I'm a Warpath fan going back to Rob Liefeld's X-Force days. Though I can't. When did he get the power to fly? I don't remember him being able to fly, but I haven't read many.
A lot has changed, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I haven't read any recent stories with him, like the Black Ops X-Force teams he was on. I
don't think he had it when he was on those teams either.
Yeah. So I'm like, where did this flight power come from? But anyway, so in last week's Weaponettes, we found out who's behind the new Weaponettes program. So that person is here, and they're recruiting regular humans to go undergo these tests. And more than likely, the individual that's seen recruited here is probably going to be the one that ends up being merged with the Hulk and like Wolverine DNA to become the big Hulk monster with the adamantium claws. I'm assuming. That's my guess as to what's going to happen. But there's some fun interplay with the between all the Weaponettes characters, because this is at the end of last week's Weaponettes, that was the first time the entire team was finally assembled together, because like Lady Deathstrike and Warpath were captured the entire time. So there's some nice, back and forth wordplay there, and then you add in Amadeus Cho. Becomes nothing gets crazy, but it's just a lot of snarky comments back and forth.
All right.
So, and Super Sons only got like 1/3 of the way through. It's a guest artist, but the art still is more than adequate here. Both Jonathan and Damien are grounded after their adventures against Kid Amazo. But of course, one of them runs away and visits the other one. So that's how far I got there.
All right. All right.
I suppose it's setting up a visit to another book.
Did it?
That is forthcoming. I'm going to assume.
Oh, Teen Titans,
There
maybe?
is-
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's already been,
Probably. All right. So if that's Tim's rapid fire books, let me get through the few I've got. I literally skimmed Aquaman number 25. It's an anniversary issue, but you should all skim through this issue and maybe try to read it to try to figure out what's going on, because the art in this book is breathtaking.
Most definitely.
So I'm just gonna pull up the artist's name real quick, but
like
it is
Stepan Sejic. I'm probably butchering this name because I don't think of it. No one's ever heard it out loud.
yeah, Stepan or Stefan. Jesus.
We apologize if you hear this. And
Yeah, shout out to this artist, because holy cow, it's
Yeah,
breathtaking.
Yeah, but his art is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to sit down and try to figure out what's going on with this, and maybe look up the previous issue, because I don't know if 24 actually leads into 25. We will see. All New Guardians of the Galaxy number 4. Obviously this book is written in the vein of the new Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie. You should still get out there. It's still in the theaters. It's a lot of fun. They're still on a quest to get into the collector's collection. And I'll leave it at that. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it's still one of the middle issues in this storyline. What I was referring to earlier is Captain America Steve Rogers number 18. It's a fill-in issue. It's not a fill-in issue, but what it does is fill in one of the gaps in the storytelling in the recent issue of Secret Empire. Involves Namor. And, ultimately, we get to this point where we understand why what happens, but do we really need to know why or how we get to that point? Not really. Silver Surfer number 12, I'll dwell on just a little bit longer, because it is a heartfelt issue. Anyone who has ever lost a parent or someone who has stood in the place of a parent will read this and understand what Dawn Greenwood is going through, and some of the things that the Surfer and a lot of the supporting characters that have become parts of this book are doing. It's really a pretty touching issue, so I recommend it simply because it deals with a lot of real world, kind of personal issues for a lot of us. X-Men Gold number 6, kind of forgettable. It deals with the crux of the story is based around Rachel Summers coming to grips with what she is right now. It is left on a cliffhanger, but ultimately, that's part of I guess the next story arc in this, in this kind of throwback X-Men book. But that's it for my rapid fire books of the week.
Her new name is weird.
Yeah, you're a little underwater, but yeah, they actually play on that in the issue. They actually mention it and kind of give maybe a reason for the choice of that name, and I guess they might be teasing that the name might be kind of short-lived. All right, Roddy, whenever you're ready, hopefully you're back above water to do your rapid fire.
How do I sound?
You're good.
Okay. All right. G.I. Joe number 6. The crown. Well, I was going to say this for last, but never mind. I'll do it now. The crown jewel of the Hasbro universe, because you can still in effect, folks. Actually, this book is still kind of good and weird, because the Joes and Skywarp end up going underground because there's been these creatures coming out from the earth, and I feel like we've probably seen these creatures in an animated form before, but I just can't place it. But anyway, they end up going underground to try to find out where these creatures are coming from. There's a fight ensues, and they finish the fight, and the creatures kind of go back to their original forms, or at least one of them does. But one of them ends up affecting Doc, because it sounds like there's some magic involved. Doc Jr., who I should say is half dire wraith, just like her dad, who is was full dire wraith. I have no idea how that happened, but it happened. Gets affected and start going crazy, but that gets under control, and all goes well on that front. At the end of this book, Scarlet is sending out a team of Joes. She's trying to find Snake Eyes and Helix, who went off on a secret mission of their own, also having to do with these creatures. But at the same time, she gets a visitor in the name of Duke, who had left the Joes somewhere somehow and is coming to pay a visit because he got wind from Roadblock, that on the operations going on down there, and the fact that they have the Baroness held down there with no trial or anything, just holding her down there for no reason, out of any jurisdiction. So Scarlet gets a little miffed about that, and that pretty much ends that little thing. We'll see what happens next issue. Trinity number 10. We see they're still trying to keep the Watchtower from crashing into the earth, and also for saving the rest of the League from themselves, because they got taken over by some aliens that they came in contact with, and Superman and Wonder Woman were trying to talk to this alien, which almost looks like Nimrod, the Sentinel. But that didn't work out, and for some stupid reason, Wonder Woman ends up touching one of the aliens and starts turning herself, even though she knew that they would take over like that, and that's pretty much the way that goes. Weird. What's next? The Luke Cage number 2. Luke Cage is still trying to figure out what's going on with the person that created his powers. He ends up running into another person who underwent those powers under the name of Warhawk. He knows the guy who's a crazy dude who helps him out after he gets injured and kind of nurses him back to health. And then they both go out and find out that Luke's not not the only two people who underwent that process. That Dr. Bernstein, who was apparently recently killed or may still be alive, gave them. So Luke comes across all these other people, and then find out that that Dr. Bernstein's assistant has been kidnapped and is being forced to help out this mobster that to help her son cure him of the side effect from the process that Luke doesn't have, but all these other folks did. And that ends up going wrong because she ends up doing something. Let's see. Doctor Strange 22. This is weird because it's a tie-in to Secret Empire. In that, so it's Doctor Strange, Spider-Woman, Ben Urich, and Death Devil got captured, and he's in the Sanctum Sanctorum, being held by Baron Mordo. Doc was trying to lift the dome over New York, and it got foiled by the crashing of Spider-Woman. So they team up, and they ended up teaming up with the Kingpin of all people, because apparently he has a magic store of magic, and then they go off to find that. And some weird writing in this book, I will say. Like, I generally like Dennis Hopeless's writing because he wrote Spider-Woman, and that comes off pretty well. But the way that specifically Doctor Strange, Wilson Fisk, and Baron Mordo was being written was just weird to me in this one.
All right.
But that is that, and that's pretty much where the tie-in is. There was not much. Well, we do see like Captain America and a couple other people showing up because they talked to Mordo, and like I said, that whole exchange was still weird. U.S.Avengers #7. The team finally figures out, hey, Cap was the one that is taking over everything, and they're fighting Hydra. Tony Ho ends up phasing away Enigma and Squirrel Girl into France, where they still end up fighting Hydra. They get caught. Well, excuse me, not they get caught, but Red Hulk and Tony Ho get caught because Red Hulk has been taken over by Hydra because he got injected with something last issue. And they get put in jail, and they come across Roberto DaCosta, who got shot in the head, but apparently is still alive for the time being, but is in sunspot form, but he looks rather not himself. And that's where the issue ends on that one. And those were the two tie-ins, and I think the only one I have left is America, #4. So America ends up, this is another weird one, because she ends up going back to the past, fighting with herself against the enemy from the first issue, which means that the last couple of issues didn't happen or something like that. I don't know. There was I got questions for this one, but also after all of that said and done, there was this what seems to be another version of America from the future, maybe an older version. We don't know that yet, but someone who seems to know and looks pretty much like America and her family knows her. Tried to approach her, saying that, hey, I was the one that was involved in you going into all these other places and this and then the other. And America gets upset and she leaves, and that's pretty much where that takes off. So I don't know. Like I said, that was a strange read. And that, folks, is it for me.
All right, so I guess we're coming up on our clicks of the week.
It's that time.
It is.
All right, so we've already announced what PCN_Dirt's click of the week is. It's Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man #1. I can tell you that was a very close second to my eventual click of the week.
Which is?
I wish I had a good drum roll. Exactly. I think I'm going to let at TimDog98 take the lead on this because I'm probably going to piggyback on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, here's a drum roll. Oh, no, it's not. I know what that is. Never mind. Go for it.
Definitely got to go with Mighty Thor #20. War Thor.
Yeah, I second that. That's
War Thor.
Awesome issue this week. Mighty Thor #20 for me too.
Oops. Okay. Well, of course, I'm going to be the oddball here. It's going to be. Oh shoot. I'm just going to go ahead and say Lobo Roadrunner Special #1. I would like to say that Wonder Woman and Tasmanian Devil tied because they were both enjoyable, but just for the fact that it ends up turning into a Roadrunner cartoon, when it's all said and done, was pretty great. Like I said, the Wonder Woman was good too. If you enjoy the pairing of DC characters and Looney Tunes characters, just read both of them because they're pretty good.
Alrighty. So Tim, are you taking your leave from the show tonight?
I am.
Alrighty.
Tim, before you go, you want to talk about a couple of your articles? Any articles that you want to bring up that you've done this week, I should say?
I know I did a couple. I did Nerdist and like two or a couple Spider-Man movie news for CBR.
The Marvel Legacy one?
Oh yeah, the Marvel Legacy, which tune in tomorrow because, well, be on the internet tomorrow because Marvel's going to reveal a bunch of stuff for Marvel Legacy apparently.
Right.
But yes, the Avengers of 1,000 BC, 1 million BC or something, which makes no sense.
Yeah, 1 billion BC. Yeah, I don't know.
But more than likely, we'll get a bunch of creative team announcements tomorrow. new books.
Which we have
But I think,
some already.
what?
I think we have some already because the Celestis came out. So,
well, that's the
not
the generation.
That's September, but yeah,
Right.
Generation one shots.
Right.
But yes, we shall see.
Alrighty then.
All right.
See y'all on the flip side.
Peace out to @TimDog98.
Later.
All right. So I guess let me get to an ad read. So let me tell you that this episode of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles is sponsored by Busted Tees, your home for funny, awesome, cool t-shirts that are sure to get your friends' attention. Busted Tees puts many of their popular shirt designs on sale each week. Choose from several eye-catching t-shirts inspired by pop culture, cleverly themed t-shirts inspired by movies, video games, TV shows, comic books, and geek culture, and much more are all on sale. To help keep our podcast free, order from Busted Tees by going to cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link. Click on the Busted Tees banner and then shop for awesome t-shirts. Busted Tees through cspn.us. Do it today. All right.
And now we will go into the cinematic news for all right. First up, oops, I'm gonna put these up here. There we go. Powerless. DC releases unaired episode of Powerless featuring Adam West. So Powerless was a show that was on NBC. It was 30 minutes. It was a comedy show. It got canceled, and there was 2 episodes they didn't show. One of which being this particular episode with Adam West. You can find that on the DC Entertainment YouTube page, and it'll only be there for a little bit of time. So you might want to go and check it out if you are so inclined.
All right. It was announced that Batman Mask of the Phantasm from the Batman the Animated Series universe is receiving a Blu-ray remaster and release. That's pretty cool news.
Yep, which I think it was the first one of those?
I believe so. It was originally released in standard definition back in 1994 on the media of its day. The resolution is going to be up to 1080p in the remaster, and I hope that it's. Oh, I'm sure it'll be just as entertaining as it was back then.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not going to spoil who the Phantasm is.
How about that? I don't know. I mean, if you haven't seen it, then
I totally don't remember the name of the character. I just remember that.
I remember it's nobody that I don't think has ever shown up in anything else. In anything related, so it probably, even if you had said, it probably wouldn't have mattered.
There you go.
But it was a good good movie, definitely. So, and like I said, it started off that whole the Batman, and it might have started out the whole DC stuff, because I can't remember if they had any of the DC movies before then.
Oh, you mean movie format, right? Okay,
right. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along, Static Shock could come to CW's Black Lightning Arrowverse crossovers. Man, that was terrible. Should have been some punctuation there. Arrowverse crossover is possible, and there was one. I just skipped it. So yeah, I think from what I remember, the showrunner was saying that they would have wanted, and there is still the possibility of the Static Shock showing up on Black Lightning show, and I am all for it if that happens. But as I said, I love the idea of Static Shock, and in success, hopefully we'll be able to pull all the characters in that way. So I'm holding out because I love that character. Storytelling is a bit more political, it's topical, and it is a bit grittier, but doesn't mean down the road there won't be business. So hopefully that will happen.
All right, so an image was published online of Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher taking to the skies again together as Lois and Clark.
Mm-hmm. And actually, you could take the next one because it's kind of related.
And Dean Cain wants to revive Lois and Clark for a 5th season. Good for him.
And all right. So, if those who don't know, it was the Superman show of the day back in the 90s. It was, and if you've watched Supergirl, you have seen both of those characters showing up. Well, both of those people showing up as
right.
as different characters, not the characters. That would have been funny either if that was the case. Because Dean Cain was playing her adopted dad, and I can't remember who Terry Hopper played because she was like evil or something. Because I didn't watch it yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Deadpool 2 filming expansion scenes with Reynolds in Victoria, BC, which is kind of funny if you think about it. Because think about how many, wasn't there a whole bunch of X-Men stories that kind of, and Alpha Flight stories come out of Victoria, BC?
I'm not sure.
I want to say yes. But, and as you know, in Deadpool 1, the only thing we saw of the X-Mansion is the front door. So I guess we'll get to go inside this time.
Okay, I'm glad that I got the next one.
Yes.
So there is a rumor.
Are you glad about this?
That, well, you know, I'm the guy with the sound effects, the appropriate ones.
Sure.
There's a rumor out there that Fox is developing a kid-friendly Fantastic Four, possibly animated reboot.
So I'm still in this.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait, I'm not done. Still not done.
Hey, boo!
Still not done.
That was wonderful. Bravo.
Oh, that was sarcastic.
No.
Sarcastic.
It
was awful. It was terrible. Get him away. It was awful. It was terrible. It was bad. It was pretty terrible. It was bad.
Now,
There you
okay,
go.
so if I'm going to play devil's advocate, it could be somewhat decent if they learned their lessons, but this is Fox, and I don't.
They don't learn.
That is. And second of all, is what I'm going to steal from the internet and say we already had the Ken Friendly Fantastic Four, and it was called the Incredibles.
That's right.
All right. Benjamin Cumberbund arrives on
Did you call him Cumberbund? Oh no!
Can't think of anything. But yes, Cumberbatch arrives on Avengers Infinity War set. And actually, there was another picture. I don't think I have it. But there was another picture of him. It was him and, let's see, Benjamin Wong.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. And I believe it was Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, they were all sitting together and they had a picture together. It was pretty cute. And there was also a reference to awesome facial hair bros going on online. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I don't think I've got that one. And,
you know, it's just very quickly as a quick aside, when you see that, and I just sort of wonder, what is it about some of the actors or, you know, male or female actors who just don't have fun doing these Marvel movies? You know, some of these characters, you know, some of these actors are just into it. Yeah, they're into it though. Like you see that they're actually enjoying the company of the actors who are also in this together with them.
Right. And that's the one thing, because you definitely you can at least feel that from some of the pictures you've seen. I was like, yeah, these folks like being around by each other, you know, with each other. Because I think Evans and oh shoot, who's playing Sam Wilson?
Mackie.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie. They seem to be, you know, every time you've seen them together, they seem to be chilling around together and having fun and all that. And these guys too, they seem to be, you know, I don't know. I can't say for some of them, but it's just weird. I was like,
yeah. I mean, I guess the point,
more than a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. What I was gonna say is, I guess that, you know, there's always the rare. I don't want to say it's the rare actor who, you know, just doesn't, just doesn't buy in. You know, there's always someone. And like you said, they see it as a paycheck, or they're just not, or they're looking for something else to do, or they don't see themselves as being franchise characters, and they just decide to move on. It's just, you know, like I said, it's to me, it's kind of endearing about the whole setup of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that you have, you know, pictures of these, you know, actors from pretty disparate backgrounds, you know, coming from across the Marvel universe basically, and just kind of coming together, and they're like, hey, you know what, we're gonna sit here and have dinner and take, you know, promotional, but yet, yeah, exactly, promotional pictures, but still wacky personal pictures.
So it's cool. And for some couple of the extras, I'm pretty sure it's nearing the end of their contract.
The contractual obligations, yeah.
Might as well get all the yucks in while we got them.
All right.
Moving right along. Watchmen TV series reportedly, and Matt Wang asks about something about Fantastic Four and Deadpool. I'm just going to go ahead and say yes, but no. Watchmen TV series reportedly in the works from Lindelof and HBO.
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't know. Which I guess, and we probably have said this before, but that's probably the right place for anything Watchmen related. Like, we probably don't need another movie, and if you're gonna do it, might as well make another show. I guess. I don't know. I'm not a big Watchmen. Whatever. I have no voice in that race. I've never read the original series and don't. Really, I don't care.
What?
Don't care. So and all the button stuff therein with DC, I'm only tangentially caring about because we'll be talking about it later on this year, I'm sure. But
this is kind of appropriate here. What? You haven't read Watchmen?
I have not. Yes, I am that person.
Good night, everybody.
That's a good time to debut that one.
Yeah, I guess so. So
all right.
I mean, Lindelof, I'm Lost, Leftovers, which Leftovers is pretty good.
All right. So, if I may, I'm going to roll the next few stories in together because they're all related.
Pretty much.
So, word dropped this week that the Han Solo standalone film lost its two directors.
Yep.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller left the production over a conflict with Lucasfilm over creative, and they cited creative differences.
Or at least that's one story.
Right. That is at least one story. Is there another story that you know of before I get into who magically appeared?
We'll get into it.
All right. Well, what's funny is that the person who magically appeared. Well, do you want to talk? Wait, it's in the.
Before we get to that, yeah. So okay, we'll go ahead and get to it. So apparently, there was another story saying that they got fired. I can call myself a comic book fan because I read comic books, and Watchmen is not the only comic book that is around. Therefore, I'm good. You can't read everything, nor should you. And you shouldn't feel like you have to. That's all. So next one is the conflict with Lucasfilm forced Lord and Chris Miller. This is where it's kind of been, I think it was kind of been rumored that they might have been fired or something like that. We don't know the whole gist of what, we know we got the hearsay, we got this and then the other, so we really don't know.
Yeah, so reportedly they never got the creative license they thought they were going to get. And they clashed with Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm said, peace.
Yeah. So
they ended up
getting to the next one.
Exactly. And they ended up getting a certain Richie Cunningham to direct the movie now. Ron Howard of Apollo 13 and Backdraft and what are his I
don't know, he's done a lot of
he's directed a lot of movies. And he has been tapped to now direct the Han Solo film.
That baffles me just a bit.
Why is that?
You don't think Ron Howard when you think comic book movie.
Right, but
I'm not saying he's not deft. I'm not saying he couldn't do it because he's a very deft director, but
right. What I was going to say to that though is look at the track record of the recent films that have gained a lot of acclaim from comic book based films that have gained a lot of acclaim from directors who are not traditionally thought of as either action directors or even forget superhero directors, but just action directors in general.
That was taken into account.
Well, I was going to say, look directly at Patty Jenkins, who did a fairly good job on a movie I finally watched, Wonder Woman. Although
you can go way past her because I don't know why people do that one, but
what I was going to say is
never done a movie before Batman.
And then obviously,
actually, I take that back. That's not true. But his movies were smaller budget. Anyway,
what I was going to get to actually is the big one, which is the Russo brothers. That was the big one. That's the biggest gamble that Marvel took, and they absolutely scored on that.
Absolutely.
So like I said, it may not be a complete shot in the dark with Ron Howard, but there has been a recent history of directors who have basically taken their initial steps into the superhero pool and came out, excelling and doing a very good job.
True. But again, there's still differences between this one and those. Like, this is Ron Howard. Like, he's of a certain note with certain type of stuff. Like, yeah, everything you just said was absolutely right. But I don't know. It's just, I'm not saying this can't work, but it's just this. I was like, where did that name come from? Who brought that up? Like I would love to have been a fly on the wall that meeting was like, who should we get? I don't know, Ron Howard. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still, you got to admit, it's still kind of weird. Regardless, maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, he doesn't look like Richie Cunningham anymore, so.
Well, that's for sure. But I mean, so I mean, slow. I don't know. It's just weird. But like I said, time will tell. We will see what happens.
Sure.
But you'll probably get more leeway than the other two guys got.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, but anyway, so yes, Richie Cunningham is now directing the Han Solo movie. Which actually brings up another question, though, because being that this was like halfway through production, I would imagine half the stuff was probably already done. I'm not saying, principal filming is probably still some left to do, but I imagine there was a lot they've already done already. So it's pretty much he's just coming in, running cleanup.
Possibly.
Yeah. Anyway, Sonequa Martin Green reveals her Star Trek Discovery character's Vulcan ties. So I won't go through it because it might be somewhat of a spoiler, but guess what? She's got Vulcan ties.
All right. Carnage will be the villain in Tom Hardy's Venom movie. Moving on.
Yeah. You mean the movie that still won't have anything to do with the rest of the...
Yeah. Pretty much.
Peter Parker takes his driver's test in Spider-Man Homecoming promo, which I believe this was... I still haven't...
I haven't watched this. Don't plan on watching it. This movie is right around the corner.
Well, actually, I'm not even sure this was even like, this was not even the movie. This is like an Audi tie-in or something.
Oh, no.
I believe, like, so I don't think it was for the, again, I haven't seen it myself, but I had intended to, and I didn't before we got it could, because, Audi's got ties with Marvel and,
right.
I mean, I'm sure this is probably, if it's not going to come into the movie, which it probably will, it's a pretty good commercial for Audi regardless. So moving right along, speaking of Spider-Man Homecoming 2, which they're already talking about, will feature a different Marvel hero. So there was another article I do remember saying that Robert Downey Jr. and / Iron Man is probably not going to be around for the next movie, or not going to be on the table for the next movie, which is fine because it's Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
They just want to have, primetime guest stars.
I guess. I mean, you shouldn't need it. If you got, he should be able to stand on his own. That's all I'm saying. I get bringing him in for the first one, bringing somebody in for the first one, but honestly, but if you're gonna bring in somebody else in on the second, just go ahead and make it a part of the MCU.
What I was going to say though is I think it has something to do with them actually sticking with, the theme of him being a kid, and it might play into how they treated Ultimate Spidey in the Ultimate Universe.
I guess that's a silly reason though.
Yeah. All right.
Moving right along.
Comic news.
We are done with cinematic news. Yes. I will say before we get to the comic book news that solicitations for September 17th, 2017 are out. If you know where to find those, Newsarama, other places, go check those out if you care what's coming out in September.
Yes, and if you care about putting in your pre-orders at your local comic shop.
Exactly, specifically.
It is important for that.
Exactly. And we will be getting in some news from solicits starting now.
Alrighty. The new Wonder Woman creative team is coming in September 2017. So James Robinson, Carlos Pagulayan, and Emanuela Lupacchino, super duper hot, are taking over DC's Wonder Woman with September 27's number 31. The trio's new story, Children of the Gods, will pick up the long simmering storyline concerning Jason, the quote-unquote brother to Wonder Woman that was revealed in 2016's Darkseid War arc of
which I remember when we talked about that, I remember groaning. I don't remember if the rest of you guys did, but I
don't remember that far. About Wonder Woman, at least.
Well, I mean, I remember because I think that was in Justice League. I remember we talked about it because I think I even read that issue, which that's why it struck a chord with me because I rarely was reading any Justice League at that point. So yeah, they're gonna bring that mess back up. I was about to say another word, and but we get James Robinson on another book, and I'm happy about that because he's cool. He's good, and as the ridiculous Agent 70 says, Emanuela Lupacchino is hot.
Hold on, it's another time for this.
Good night, everybody.
Have Hello Nurse.
Yes. Oh man, that's the next one I got to pull. Anyway.
Next up, more Wonder Woman news. In fact, I think I skipped one because we just talked about it. But Wonder Woman meets Hello Kitty in new Sanrio collaboration. So I guess she's gonna have a Hello Kitty thing.
That's cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Skipping that next one because we talked about it. Tim Drake returns. Cellmate's identity is revealed in September. So as some of you that read DC know, Tim Drake's been quote unquote dead for the past how long has it been?
I don't know idea.
Yeah, it's been a while. But he's actually wasn't dead. He was just in another dimension or something. Whatever. I have no idea.
Alrighty. So in DC Rebirth news, Mr. Oz's identity will be revealed in September. Who in the bloody hell is Mr. Oz?
So there's the rumor that it could be Ozymandias from Watchmen, which that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm still my money was on actually I don't know who my money was on because I'm not even paying that close attention to this as I've said recently. So but that's the front runner. We don't know who else it could be. You DC folks, I mean, you DC reading folks might know who's been reading, more closely or know better than I. Next, in Cash'em news, Marvel debuts first rock music themed variants covers because they apparently have used up and spent up every bit of hip hop covers.
Ha!
That's me editorializing. That is not them saying that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. They've used them all up, but they definitely want to draw upon another demographic. Let's call it that. And
I'm going to say they used them all up because they started just throwing some out there, even really recent ones.
Yeah. Yeah, but then again, we're old. So
I mean, agreed.
They want to draw, some of the younger demographics as well. Drawing some of these classic, drawing upon these classic rock covers is a good idea, but at the same time, I think that for those of us who have been trying to collect every hip hop cover, I think I'll be picking and choosing these rock and roll covers. I do like the Guns N' Roses though.
I kind of like that one, and I kind of like the Nirvana one.
The Nirvana one, yeah.
Yeah. And these are the couple. I don't know. That's Blondie, but I'm not sure what this one is.
Same. Not sure.
I don't know. Good luck on them. Those will be coming out in September.
Yep.
And looks like there'll be a Sgt. Pepper one. Oh wait, no, it's actually I'm sorry. That's the author of this speculating if there's going to be one.
Okay.
Sure. Whatever. Next.
It makes sense.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna do one. Yeah. All right, next up, Marvel reveals Generations details for Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, and more. So this is basically a bunch of one-shots that they have the creative teams for.
Right.
So one of these kind of really threw me off. And actually, so you got the one with Steve and Sam. You got Marvel and Carol. You got Tony and Riri, which this was the one that kind of weird made me, and maybe I'm missing something out of Iron Man because I do need to catch up. But it says here Riri Williams is given a once-in-a-lifetime chance to meet Tony Stark's Sorcerer Supreme.
Okay.
Now, first it makes you think, okay, awesome facial hair, bros is still alive. Second, I'm like, wait, so that means is Tony coming back to life? Quote unquote.
I don't know.
Or is this I mean, obviously gonna handle this some kind of way, but I'm like, wait,
so some time travel in there, so
exactly. I'm like, never would you have thought those words, but then again, that's where the awesome facial hair brothers thing comes. I was like, wait, are they that close to where to where he took over the mantle? That's some mess up. But anyway, like I said, there's a bunch of other generation stuff. Some I'm looking forward to, some whatever. But we got creative teams for them.
Right. So
next up,
Marvel Legacy, right? Marvel Legacy #1 is going to introduce Avengers from 1 million BC.
I don't know. Can we call this a retcon?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, they have done stories. I mean, because they've done like the 1959 stories and the like in the past, so this is not that big of a surprise. This is, I think they've even gone back. I want to say there's been Marvel stories that have gone back this far before. I may be wrong. I don't know. But regardless, this seems ridiculous. But hey, it is what it is. Fred and Brian are going to be Avengers. Next up. You can be Captain America with the $679 screen accurate shield replica. So our agent, our resident, I should say, Captain America expert, Agent 70. What do you think?
That's a lot of dough, but listen, if you want the accurate, the movie accurate paint job, which is the stealth
before the finish.
The stealth, right? Exactly. The stealth painting of Cap's shield for Winter Soldier. That's as good a job as you're ever going to see. But for $679, that's got to be made out of some pretty sturdy metal, because
it says 10-pound fiberglass and steel prop.
Listen, it's still a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yes, it is. But you can pre-order it now if you're so inclined for those cosplay purposes.
Yep.
God bless you for it.
Next up, Kingsman jumps from Marvel to Image and recruits a new creative team.
That seems strange.
Wasn't this creator owned?
Well, so it was, if I'm not mistaken, Millar had his own line at Marvel. Because when he did Wanted and Kingsman and all that kind of stuff, I'm assuming. I think that was, or was it in the Icon line? I can't remember.
Right.
So that being the case, is the rest of that stuff going? Is it just this?
We don't know yet. At least from the bits in the article I've been able to look at. So
yeah, I mean, I remember reading this and I don't remember saying it was just talking about this specific one. So but that's still weird all the way around. So
all right, moving on. This is my favorite news of the week.
A lot of people like
awesome.
This. Yeah, go for it.
Oh no, you got it. It's your turn.
Okay, well, Dynamite announces John Wick prequel comic creative team. So yes, there will be a John Wick comic. It will be written by none other than Greg Pak of Totally Awesome Hulk and Teen Titan. Well, he says Teen Titan fame, but okay. Totally Awesome Hulk, bunches of other stuff, with art by Giovanni Valletta.
Shout out to Greg Pak. This is some awesome news, and if I'm not mistaken, this is actually going to create John Wick canon.
That is correct, because this is, as it says, is going to be prequel before the first movie, and I think it's going to be definitely him and talking about now I have not seen either one of the movies. I just watched two. I'm about to watch those movies because now I'm going to get interested in it. For all accounts heard by this news, like a lot of people are excited for this, and I'm like, check Greg Pak's writing it, so I give it a chance. But like I said, once I watch the actual movies,
Right. And the articles that dropped mention that the creators of the character are on board. Keanu Reeves is on board, not necessarily in a creative capacity, but they've basically given their blessing to the direction that the book is going to take.
Right. And it says here the series will pick up right after Wick is released from prison and is introduced to the League of Shadow, the League of Assassins, which that's kind of weird.
Right.
And yada yada, and the book of rules, the 3 bills, the calamity. If you know the movies, you know some of these things, and the Baba Yaga. So you know all of these things. You know more than I do about this. So September 6th is when that is coming.
Exciting stuff.
Yep. Less than exciting news. No, I'm sorry. I'm kidding. Rob Liefeld to relaunch Dave Cockrum's Futurons. I don't know anything about this book. You know anything about this?
Futurians? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah.
All right. So, exactly. Moving on to some additional obscure heroes. Former DC Wildstorm hero Ninja Boy charts his own path. I have no idea who that character is. So,
I don't either.
We
do know they're apparently not going to be on the Wildstorm imprint that is going on right now.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on. Indeed. So that's that.
So it's the original creators, and they raised their money on the Kickstarter. So doesn't say when it's coming or if it is somewhere buried in the article. And I'm going to look for it, but congrats to that. 2017 Inkwell Awards winners were given. So the Inkwell Awards was an award ceremony that actually happened at Heroes Con. I could have actually gone to this. And in fact, I was right across the way from the awards when it started. I mean, when it happened, but I didn't. One of these days, we might have to cover it. But it's an award ceremony, and there was a bunch of people that got stuff. Half of the names, I have no idea who they are. But it is what it is. Congrats to all those people, though. Runaways, Batman, Darth Maul, 27 more titles. Free titles come for Halloween Comic Fest 2017. So Comic Fest 2017 is pretty much like Free Comic Book Day for Halloween.
Right.
I think we talked about it. We talked about it a little bit around Free Comic Book Day because I know I remember getting some comics from last year that was from Comic Fest 2016 on Free Comic Book Day.
Right. The hope is that more stores will participate in Halloween Comic Fest.
Mm-hmm. So there's some stuff, there's some. Oh yeah, so like I said, Runaways, Darth Maul, which Runaways is probably the one that I'm sure there will be people excited for.
Sure.
And some other things that I've seen of
in conjunction with the new television show.
Exactly.
Alrighty. Next up, there's going to be a definitive Street Fighter art book and retrospective coming. We'll be on the lookout for that.
That's right. If you don't get any Street Fighter art book, this is going to be one to get. I don't know, because there's been a few of those bad ones. I think I even have one over here somewhere.
Already?
So cool. I think it's done by the same people who did the art of Atari. Well, the editor of which I still need to pick up that book. So that ought to be pretty good regardless. Declan Shalvey joins Mooney in Half Past Danger 2 Dead to Right, which is a IDW a creator-owned book.
Nice.
By Stephen Mooney. So, congrats.
Alrighty. I might just skip past this next one and get to... what, you want to talk about it? Go ahead.
I mean, it's cute. So, I guess you have to see this one more. So, if you have seen the show notes for the show, that I have tweeted out at the time of the show that we're recording this, which probably won't do any good in a couple of days when you get this on audio. Artist shares what everyday life is like with his wife in comic illustrations. And like I said, it's worth seeing. If you look up that article by that name, if you heard what I just said, then It is on designtaxi.com. It's cute. Check it out. It's some good art though, by the way. So hopefully this dude gets to do some other stuff, because like I said, there's some pretty decent art going on here. Anyway, next.
Dynamite Entertainment announces Librarians creative team. Is that based on the TV show?
That is based on the TV show.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Librarians has been a success and is now being adapted into comic book form.
So I was, I know I have a friend who is a fan of that show and that series, and they were, when they saw it, they was like, "Wait a minute, it's Librarians getting canceled?" I'm like, "No, it's just, you know, they've gotten popular enough to make the jump from TV show to the comic book, as some shows have done."
There you go.
Famously. So good. I have yet to watch. Matter of fact, I take that back, because matter of fact, over the weekend, one of the Librarian movies came on. One of the original Librarian movies came on with Noah Wiley. It seemed like it was all right. So I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. Anyway, moving right along. Farewell for now to Bombshells, DC's queerest comic. Although, except it is not over. It's just ending this run and starting in a new. It's going to, well, it is ending with the 100th issue and starting up with a new series called Bombshells United. And I believe it is the same creative team of Marguerite Burnett, who's a very beautiful woman, Stephen Mooney, Bilquis Everly, who's a very great artist and herself. I think it is. Wait, let me make sure this is the correct. Let's say yes, because I don't see anything to. Yeah, I don't see any difference. So yeah, and that is coming in August. So I know there are some people. I've checked out a little bit of that book. It actually seemed like it was all right, but I didn't. It's basically a alternate retelling of the DC universe, almost not unlike Injustice, but not really, because this is basically back in the 40s, 50s, whatever the case may be, and it is starring the good clump of the females of the DC universe. So go check that out if you're inclined. Syracuse mayor makes Saturday Neil Adams Day, and that is this coming Saturday, June 24th. Syracuse, New York, which I understand is somewhere nearest to you.
No,
nearer to you than it is.
Oh yeah, definitely nearer to me than you.
Yeah, I know it's upstate.
Yeah, upstate, but, yeah.
But nevertheless, Syracuse, New York, the mayor is issued to Neil Adams Day. Maybe you'll at the very least see something off of that coming from that way.
Sure.
Adams will, and that also coincides with Salt City Comic Convention, which is taking place that weekend. So convenient.
All righty.
Congrats to Neil Adams. Worth it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All righty. So that brings us to.
Well, we still got a couple more.
Oh, okay.
And I'll blow through these. So there was actually, I don't know why I bring this up because it's only speculation. So Axel Alonso tweeted out, if you're watching this video version, okay, I will make this quick. It Takes Two, and it's got Ben Grimm's hands and what looks to be, is that a 2 or a 3?
It's a 2.
It's a 2. Tim asked me something about a Fantastic Four 3 because it sounded like there was some news that came out during Heroes Con, which apparently I did not miss, which I didn't see because the panels, none of it was out at the panels that I went to. Sometimes there is news breaking that will break during that during Heroes Con. I guess you can call that DMC news that I said earlier, but we don't know. But it says It Takes Two. I believe we have had some speculation on a Ben Grimm and Dr. Doom book from you guys. You said that?
I think PCN_Dirt said it.
Yeah. I'm still thinking it either could be Ben and Johnny, even though is Johnny with the Inhumans or not? I can't remember.
No longer.
Did he go with? Huh?
No longer. He didn't go into space.
That's right, because he was in Peter Parker this week, so he's still on Earth. So I'm still thinking it could either be Ben and Johnny has got a book together. I know it's not a full-blown Fantastic Four, or they're bringing back Marvel 2-in-1, which
that's more likely.
I would appreciate that.
I thought it was a great theory, and I thought it was actually a great tease for that, because you have to be of a certain vintage to remember that Ma Grimm's ever-loving blue-eyed thing had his own team-up title.
Yes, Aunt Petunia's blue-eyed boy. Yes. So we'll find out what the heck that is about, and of course people are stupid in the comments, but we're gonna let that roll.
Mhm.
Fruit Ninja gets comic series from Dynamite Entertainment, because Dynamite's just kind of blowing some stuff out. Obviously, this comes from listen. Fruit Ninja is the mobile game turned Xbox game, Xbox Connect game to be specific, and now it's getting a comic book. Yeah. And Fruit Ninja is like you swipe the screen, you've got fruit. You're a ninja. Yes, let's keep it going. Also from Dynamite Entertainment, in September we're getting. I usually don't get these articles like this because I don't know the site. But Sheena #1 is coming in September, which is coming off of Sheena #0, Sheena Queen of the Jungle, which apparently had a book by actually, was it Marguerite Bennett? I believe Bennett.
I believe so.
Yep. And coming back for #1. J. Scott Campbell's doing a cover, and a couple other people. So congrats to Marguerite Bennett. By the way, I should say Marguerite Bennett's got a couple books that I actually do enjoy, and I'm not saying the other stuff is not what I enjoy, but Justin Pussycats is pretty good. You regardless if you're all women or not, you can read that, because I know some people are like, it's a girl's book. Blah, 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 blah. No, you can don't be like that. That's stupid. It's a good book. Also, Animosity, which I need to read a little bit more of, but that book seems kind of crazy. But last but not least, major Star Wars. Actually, we kind of already talked about this, so I guess I don't really have to, because when I talked about Darth Vader #2, we kind of brought this up. But yeah, so basically, if you remember what I said earlier about Darth Vader #2 and what might have come out during that story, that's what this is about. And now we are done. So do we have an
Well, before we do our last ad read, we should do.
Oh, you want to do the unboxings now?
Yeah, just do the unboxings. We'll get that done and over with.
Yeah, I got one. You got one. So let's do this. Go for it.
All right. So this week I got an order of my pre-order was filled by shout out to Dorkside Toys for taking care of my order of the Spider-Man Homecoming Marvel Legends series, and that box came in this week.
Ooh-ha.
It's a big box. Lots of Marvel Legends in here.
Yes.
So just very quickly, there is the Marvel Comics Tombstone. It's out. Right. So now that I have Power Man and Iron Fist, I can actually reenact Walker and Sanford Green's last storyline.
There you go.
Captain Universe.
You get the whisper right.
Right. Captain Universe, Spidey. That's pretty awesome. Acts of Legends. That's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, it is.
Because you actually get a Spider-Man and a Captain Universe. Not that, Captain Universe is no great shakes, but, it's kind of cool that you have that option.
And it's the ultimate that could be you.
Exactly. A comic accurate Beetle, because they've been putting up Beetles for a long time in the Marvel Legends, and they just have not been the classic purple and green.
I don't feel like you're about to get one that I'm about to be really upset about.
Possibly. So here is the Spider-Man modern the check suit with the web wings. That's pretty cool. The web wings don't extend all the way as we'd love them to, but they're still there. Right, they're still there though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just because you got that articulation can probably be a little tricky with that.
Right. This is the movie Vulture.
Okay.
All right, and the Build-A-Figure is the wings for the Vulture because they are pretty big.
Right. It's an involved. Right.
Here is the makeshift costume that is featured in the movie.
Yep.
And last but not least from this series, we have, drum roll please, Night.
Oh, that's sweet. Hold on. Let me shut up. Say something.
This is the Moon Knight.
Oh, wait, actually, I could have just. There we go. Boom.
There we go. Here's the Moon Knight Marvel Legends. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I might actually end up getting that one.
Yeah. Hopefully he won't be too hard to find on the pegs.
Yeah.
And the last thing I got, which was part of a series that dropped a little earlier, and I did not see fit to buy too many figures from this set. I'm probably going to pick up the Nebula, and I've already basically spoiled what series I'm talking about. It's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is the second Marvel Legends wave for this movie, and I picked up the new Rocket with Baby Groot. This version of Rocket is far more articulated than the previous version was.
Right.
Previous version didn't have an ab crunch or any kind of articulation in the midsection, so this is a much better rendition and a much better value for a figure.
Right on.
And that's my unboxing for the week.
Wait, wasn't there a Black Panther?
Oh no! The news on that was I had communicated to you this week that I was not able to purchase the Black Panther exclusive off of the Walmart website because they had sold out.
Okay, there we go.
I was in the middle of purchasing it, so my hope is that they get some more in stock, or I find my way to a local Walmart and I get lucky. But I was very disappointed this week because I happened to just at random go to my Facebook page, and I happened to see a note from, I believe it was Marvelous News, that said that there were some in stock on the Walmart website. And when I got there, there were, but as I was completing my order, they sold out.
Ooh,
very.
Yeah, I was in Walmart yesterday, and I totally forgot about that. I should have looked, but because usually when a part of making a Walmart run now is me just kind of skirt around to that area and see what they have.
You got to walk through the toy section.
Yeah. And then walk around to get what I actually went in there for, just to see if they had anything. And I didn't do that this time, which it's probably just well because I suspect they might not have had it. My Walmart's kind of slack sometimes, but that's cool. So that does it for you with your stuff.
Yep.
And Matt was like, "Whoa, these Marvel's Spider-Man figures are awesome." Yes.
Shout out to @MattWang97.
I still should have. I wish I had taken a picture of that wall of figures that had that one vendor though, because that thing was scary big. I mean, it wasn't like it was probably like I don't know if you can see it, but it was a fairly sized wall. Like it's probably a good 7 feet tall and yay wide, a little yay wide, but it was just packed with figures. It was ridiculous. But anyway, so folks, I think that's it for me, except for it's time for the unboxing.
Yay! More Spider-Man.
Yep, and this month's month's thing, whatever, is Spider-Man Homecoming. As you can see from here, top of the box, you got hooded Spidey. Almost looks like Scarlet Spider, but so we open up the box. Of course, as always, we get the line arts. We got Spidey there, and we got, is that Iron Man down at the bottom, and another picture of
that looks like
Spidey. And on the top, we have our patch and our pin, which is Spider-Man and the Vulture.
Yeah, that is the Vulture.
Yep. That's a weird looking. Actually, I would probably rock that patch though, for real, because it looks more like Woodsy the Owl than the Vulture. And I think that pen looks like Miles.
I can't tell from here.
It's bluish because it's more bluish than black, like Miles' the cartoon, but it kind of reminded me of that. Okay. And the lighting's probably not helping out any. Anyway, inside we have joy. Variant cover, the Marvel Collector's Core variant cover of Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man, which came out this week.
That's cool.
Yeah, which they've done that sometimes, so that's pretty cool. We have this month's shirts. Got to do the ripping and the tearing. Oh, sweet. All right. Sorry for a second. And
I recognize that. Yeah.
Yep. We have. This is Midtown School of Science and Technology from the movie.
That's cool. I like that.
Yep. I want an ESU shirt, but
that is cool. That is very cool.
But we have that. It's got the new shirt smell. It's not usually the color I would get, but whatever. I bought some shirts for Heroes Con, and half of them didn't show up, so I didn't wear half of them. But regardless, including one comic book chronicle shirt. That was yeah, a thing. I was bummed about that. Let's see. We have. Let me put you right here for a second. Of course, with these Marvel Funko Pop things, we have Spider-Man Pop.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like, you know, the Homecoming line.
Right. The exclusive part about this, I think, is because it has the web wings.
That is true. Yep. You can see him down there in a little bit. So, and of course, the rest of them, they got a Peter, they got a Tony Stark and a Vulture, and the homemade suit that's in this collection, in this part of the collection. So I'm sure the rest of them are out there somewhere, just like the truth. And the last two things, are actually these. These are not the Dorbs. These are the mini mystery boxes, and I don't have too many of these or know too much about them. But these are basically not the bobbleheads, I don't think. But these are like, oh no, these are bobbleheads. Excuse me.
Yeah, the tiny bobbleheads are random.
Right.
Randomly packaged.
Mm-hmm. So you got the Vulture, and you got the homemade suit Spidey, and of course you got more line art in the bottom of this thing.
Cool.
Which looks like there was something there, but it's not. So that concludes the unboxing for this month. And I believe that also brings us to the end of this fine program.
Yes, let us get our last ad reading of the night. Very quickly, let me tell you about Skull Candy. Skull Candy makes the best headphones, earbuds, and gaming headsets, all with lifetime warranties. Skull Candy produces many types of audio accessories, including headphones, sports earbuds, Xbox gaming headsets, and PlayStation gaming headsets, DJ headphones, and iPod and MP3 headphones. And now, for the listeners of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles, Skull Candy offers free standard shipping on your order. To help keep our podcast free, order from Skull Candy by going to cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link. Click on the Skull Candy banner, and then shop for high-quality audio accessories with free standard shipping. Skull Candy Audio through cspn.us. Do it today. Ha 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 ha.
And with that, we come to another fine, the close of another fine episode of this here Comic Book Chronicles podcast. I would like to thank the Left for the Night Tim, that's Tim Dog 98 on Twitter, the KLIQ Nation, that's the KLIQ NATION on Twitter, and also thekliqnation.com, CB Cron on Twitter, also him. Go check out his works on CBR and Nerdist and everywhere else he's writing stuff up. If you check out his Twitter feed, you will definitely find his stuff. Also not with us tonight is PCN_Dirt. PCN_Dirt on Twitter. Pop Culture Net on Twitter, popculturenetwork.com for his website. Go check out his goods over there, and he should be back with us next week after his vacation time. And of course, Mama Mello, Agents_70 here with me as always. Appreciate you being here, sir.
Yep.
Agent_70 on Twitter and also on Instagram. He doesn't have a site yet. We're working on them. You can find us at cspn.us. You can also find us at thekliqnation.com, obviously, because it's the KLIQ Nation Comic Book Chronicles. You can also find us wherever you can find other fine podcasts, wherever you get them from, you know, iTunes, Stitcher, Google,
SoundCloud,
all of those places. You can find us there. Just like ask for us by name, folks. cspn.us, go there. shop.cspn.us, go there, support us and the other podcasts on the Coastal of the Podcasting Network. We would appreciate it very much. I believe that is it. You would think I'd have done this enough to remember all of this, but if I haven't, I'm sure someone will let me know. And with that, folks, join us next week, same time, same channel, for another episode of the The Claynacious Comic Book Chronicles.
And we're out.
We
Peace.
are out. Peace.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.